Target, we put a little extra heart into everything we do. Like Act Clear to save money. Generic, 90-day refill, even rewards. Target coupon for every 10 prescription. On your next Target run, stop by CVS Pharmacy. We're the place. CVS Pharmacy at Target. Health is everything.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and lifeless work. You'll select one. 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visit Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Gallery to say this, people like Rudy are actually dealing with the actual case. And I always have some deference to the people who were involved because I knew that when I had my cases, I always knew more about them than people who were commenting on them. So I always try to be humble in that way. But it just seems to me they have such serious stuff to deal with Mueller. And this campaign financing, which is all that Stormy Daniels thing is in terms of the law, is just like regulatory small potatoes.
When they after Michael Cohen and then ran his house, don't you think it kind of different? It's different? Because now they're looking at the president's businesses?
Well, it is and it isn't, Brian. I mean, so one thing we have to keep remembering is that Mueller could have kept the investigation, and he didn't. Remember, he brought this back to the Justice Department, and they decided to give it to the District of New York rather than have Mueller keep his investigation.
calls from the president. They may not have recorded, but I assure you they were listening. If they were listening, they can't use anything they hear as a basis for an affidavit of probable cause or in a prosecution, but it can send them seeking other means to obtain evidence to support that.
They're only supposed to be getting phone numbers. Do you really think they were listening?
No, look, I love Judge Knapp, but I've done a million. It's a device that you slap on a phone line, and it gives you the calls in and out, the numbers that are dialed, and the time of the call. It doesn't give you the capability to do that. So what he's basically saying is that we have rogue agents who are doing illegal wiretaps, and I think if that was going on, that would be so well known that people, their heads would roll over that. No, I don't think that's going on. I think it's pretty standard to do pen registers. I frankly think it's a bigger deal that they were monitoring his email, Brian, which is like something that was going on and that we learned about when the Cohn case first broke into the press, because that does mean that they were looking at least some of his communications. Evidently, the president doesn't do emails, so there were no emails with the president. But the reason that story was so serious yesterday isn't about, are they doing these nefarious secret wiretaps that nobody knows about? It's that to get a wiretap, you need to show a court probable cause of a crime. Whereas to get a pen register, you don't need to show the court anything. You just need to tell the court you're conducting an investigation. So when NBC made that false report, what they were essentially saying is that whatever Cohn is into is so serious that they had evidence to get a wiretap, which means a federal judge found probable crime. And evidently that wasn't the case.
A couple of things. I don't have any idea why Mueller sought 70 blank subpoenas in the Manafort case. This guy, Uzo Asani, and he is from the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, and he has given $900 to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Why do you need another guy at this point?
Yeah, I think you and I have talked about this before. I did the Blind Shake case, which was a pretty big case in its time. I did it with 3 prosecutors.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, the 70 subpoenas, Brian, doesn't really bother me because in the Southern District of New York, where I work, we didn't have to go to the court to ask for subpoenas. We just had an endless supply of them. And it's not really a big deal because when you issue a subpoena, if you do something you shouldn't in issuing the subpoena, they can always come in and move to quash it with the court. So the fact that he's in a district where apparently the prosecutor doesn't have an endless supply of subpoenas, and they have to, like the defense lawyers, go and ask the court's permission to issue them. So, fine. But why he needs another prosecutor? He's already got like 17 people on this case.
I heard
and
this
then
guy
they won't even tell us how much it's how much they're spending.
I heard he is a spendaholic, and by the way, he's got this huge staff. It's going on for over a year. He doesn't seem in any rush. Everyone, well, I love Robert Mueller. Fantastic. I don't know why he's hiring from the I Hate Donald Trump fan club.
Right.
Meanwhile, let's move on and talk about something really significant on the other side. The Mueller probe. They made it clear to Rudy Giuliani they want to speak to him. They want to speak to him under oath. And these are roughly the questions. We saw 52 out there. Now, the question is, does the president have to sit with them? Jonathan Turley weighed in to see if we're going to go there, because if the president says no, it was assured by Robert Mueller that we'll subpoena him. Here's what he said. I want to get what you think. Cut 8.
I don't see the end game here, because if they force a subpoena and it is challenged, I think Mueller will win. Now, they could narrow the subject and narrow the time, but at the end of the day, the case law favors Mueller. The biggest danger is if he forces the president into a grand jury, he goes in there without counsel, and that is a significant danger for the president.
The scenario, you see it differently.
Yeah, I think that he does have executive privilege. And I'm not saying that Professor Turley's wrong. We don't know everything that Mueller knows. And if it turns out that he does have evidence of some serious crime, and he's got the president somehow complicit in it, and he can show that he needs the president's testimony, then I think a court would probably order that the president had to testify. But I don't think we're anywhere near that showing yet. And I think that the Justice Department here is supposed to be supervising Mueller. And you think the way this is going that he has no